These are the newly retooled, redesigned Emac Truths. The original Emac Truths were designed to be a straight to stable flying mid-range that gives you predictable finish with great glide. But over the years, things change. These started to fly a little bit too straight. So McCabe wanted to redesign the mold and make it true to its original flight characteristics, a straight to stable mid-range that can handle most wind conditions and still give you a reliable finish and fantastic glide down the fairway.
You heard me right. The Emac Truth has been retooled again. Not quite to the extreme of the Truth to Emac Truth was, but basically I wanted a more stable version of the original Emac Truth because I felt like after a little bit of time they were really losing their integrity and not keeping up that stability, that consistency that I once loved out of the original runs of Emac Truth. Let's go with the Lucid first. Regular old school Lucid plastic. All right, well that one hit the band. Let's go new Lucid. Similar flight, but you can tell that thing just has a little bit more integrity to it. Wants to dump a little bit harder, which is what I'm looking for.
So today, we're gonna test that. I brought some of the original molds, some of the retooled molds. We're gonna throw them on different shot shapes and see how they react and whether or not the retooled version is actually more stable. Profile-wise, you're not gonna see much difference in how these two discs actually line up. They look very, very similar, nearly identical. So the proof will be in the flight. I'm gonna throw some straight shots, some hyzers, some anhyzers. This seemed like a great idea, but camera's already overheating because it's 95 degrees out here. So we're in the shade, we're gonna try to make this work. Bear with me. Now, I did bring along some plastics that will fly more stable. Got an older Moonshine run, it's about 5 years old, and one that's about 3 years old. Both relatively stable runs, and a relatively new Lucid run. I want to try to make this as fair of a comparison as possible to the newer retooled Emac Truths. I'm going to throw all three of the older runs straight as I can. Never really moved off the center line. That was awesome. And that's why I love Emac Truths. Okay, that one had a touch more fade. I probably released it on just a degree or two of hyzer. Moonshine. Flat. A little bit of fade at the end. That's what they're known for. And now we're going to throw the three new retooled ones. These look amazing. That one pretty similar flight, but I think it carried a little further. That's finishing. The orange one wanted to fade a little earlier. Ooh. Touch of hyzer, but definitely fought more. All right, you can see most of them are pretty close to each other. These two being the outliers that went the furthest. And the Lucid one that I threw on a touch of hyzer furthest to the left. Opposite wind heading this way, a little bit of a tail cross left to right. We're gonna go with the newer runs first. Again, trying to throw them flat. Yeah, that's my favorite so far. Just glides and then finishes. Love that. It's got more glide than that one. Orange. Orange one's got some finish to it. I think that's the most stable of the bunch. All right, here we go. That's a really bad throw. It's on hyzer. Moonshine. Better? Moonshine's got some finish to it. There we go. That's more of what I expect from a Lucid. Great flight. Man, it's such a good disc. Moral of the story, regardless of the outcome, get yourself an Emac Truth or 6 or 28 like I have. Actually, I bought some from Eric recently. 31. Yeah, 31. This orange guy is definitely the most stable of the bunch. This one by far, twice now. The furthest flying one of the group. Newly retooled. A little bit of flatness, just the tiniest bit of dome, but pretty flat overall. This is a gem. 30 feet past the others. The red was the second closest. This one still had it by 15 feet. So far, I definitely see a difference. I think here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna throw some Anheisers, and I'm gonna mix in one new mold, one traditional mold, one new mold, one traditional mold. We'll come back, we'll throw Heisers, and then I'm gonna take my two favorites. One of the new retooled mold, one of the original mold, 3 holes out here at Heritage Pines, throw some shots, see who comes out on top. But no matter what, the winner's gonna be an Emac Truth, obviously. Here we go, Anheisers. Anheisers are a shot I've been struggling with for a while. So don't at me about how terrible my Anheuser form is. We're gonna start with one of the newer retooled ones. Definite turn and some fight and finished. Older run, Lucid. This is one of the more stable ones so far. A little lower, still fought out though. That's a great disc, man. Newer run. More lower and driven. Yeah. They're similar, guys. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you there's a world of difference. There is a difference, but it's not giant. Retooled. That fought out the most, just as I expected. Moonshine, and this is probably the straightest of the 6. So I'd expect this to hold a little longer. Oh boy, that's not coming out at all. Yeah, so that's the anomaly of the bunch, the straightest. Not surprising, the 3 retooled ones are the furthest over, so they fought out. The more stable Lucid run that was thrown lower fought back. This Moonshine one, which flies great. But the anomaly is the older Moonshine run, which is like 40 feet from the others. Let's throw some Heisers, and I'll pick my favorite 2 and go to the course. Guys, the heat out here is real. My camera keeps saying too hot. May stop recording unexpectedly. So, sacrificing for y'all to bring you this information about these discs. So if you're digging it, hit that subscribe button. Help the channel grow. Plan on bringing out more content throughout the year, especially on downwinds when I'm not actually out filming on the Pro Tour. Let's get back to it. This is perfect because we've got just the slightest breeze coming in, a little bit of headwind. So we're gonna go traditional mold, new mold, traditional, new mold. On Heiser. Start with the straightest of the bunch on Heiser. That's a Heiser. By no means trying to murder these, I'm just trying to throw them at like a nice 60-70%, so you get a good idea of the flight. That was more Heiser angle, so it's gonna finish more left. Right back to center, love it. A little steeper, a little wider. Great flight. Ooh, that's got some integrity. I really like that one. And it's that 6 seafoam blue color. That one glides, I really like that one. That's definitely one of my top 2. After testing the newly retooled Emac Truths, I've chosen this one from the new crop and this run of Moonshine, which flies great and is still stable. So let's compare them to each other. Hole 4 from the shorts. This is a perfect Emac Truth hole. A little bit of flex, a little bit of finish at the end. Up this main gap, get around that purple dot tree to the right, bend back over to the left. 250 feet, kind of hard to film. Basket's relatively straight ahead, but you can't just get to it straight ahead. We're gonna start with the older run of the Lucid Moonshine Emac Truth. Not the line. A little surprised by how stable that one still is. Throw this one a little bit sharper, more intent. Like that. Here comes the fade. That looks perfect. All right, I think I hit a late tree or something because I'm a little closer than I thought I would be. Pin high. I don't see the new one. I thought the new one would be right here. It's probably deep. Yeah, newer Emac, just a little bit deep. It definitely glides for so much. For being more stable, it still glides a lot. Birdie, birdie. I had a feeling this is going to be a deadlock. Wouldn't surprise me. Hole 6 from the shorts, tunnel shot, 270 feet, slight turn left to right, baby fade. Again, a really good Emac shot to give me a birdie look. Hopefully. Hopefully. This hole's becoming more and more of a favorite. This time we're going to alternate. We're going to go with the newer mold first, then the older mold. Try to make it as fair as possible. Okay. I think I'm past the pin on the left. Didn't quite get the drift I thought I was going to get. Really good. Retooled Emac about 25, 28, left side. And the older run, 15. 2 holes to birdies. Last hole of the 3-hole challenge, hole 11, 285 feet. Main gap is a hyzer through the right side. Finishing left, pushing forward. So far, 2 down with each disc. Let's see if we can do a clean sweep with each. We're gonna go with the older Lucid Moonshine first. I got a feeling this one will perform a little better here because you want the push. That looks fantastic. That's a little inside. That's a longer putt. Sawed it off a little bit. So off the tee, it's looking like advantage for the older run, just because it got a little bit more push, which on this shot, it's a hyzer, but you need it to be a pushing hyzer. I think I should have a look for birdie from both. That's why I love Heritage Pines. Look at all this. Beautiful canopy. Oh, so cool. Very similar flights. I sawed this one off a little bit. So finished a little shorter left. The older run, right in position. That was the weirdest reaction. Terrible putt, but really, really terrible reaction. Well, I gotta rewind that and see what exactly just happened. Hopefully the camera caught it from that angle.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Well, that wraps it up. So is there a big difference between the two discs? Not a big difference. There is a noticeable difference though. The older run pushes a little bit straighter and then gives you some finish, where the newer run is going to hold and then kind of move more subtly over to the left while gliding left, especially this one. But it really comes down to the run, the plastic type, the parting line, the dome. A lot of different factors, as you know, will affect the flight and the stability of a disc. Overall, though, I can genuinely say that the newer retooled Emac Truth does hold truer and then finishes slightly more than the older runs. Really, you can make a case for having both in the bag like I do. Let me know what you're bagging right now for that straight, stable, mid-range spot that we all need in the bag. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Got more content coming your way. But in the meantime, get out there and fling some Frisbees. We'll see you in the next one. Until right now. Come on!